Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a patio pond or a mini garden pond. So I've just got back from my local Maidenhead Aquatics and picked up some pond plants. So these are all completely new to me. I've never done a pond plant, I've never used marginal plants or anything like that, so I'm not going to attempt to say the names. I'm just going to overlay the labels and you can see what I'm using here. So I just picked ones that I liked, and then I grabbed a pond basket which ended up being too big and didn't fit in the barrel that I chose to create the mini pond in. So I just cut it in half and I just slot the two pieces together just to make it smaller, and then I used some cable ties to attach it together again. And this worked fine. It fit in the little barrel. This is £12 from Morrison's if you're in the UK, and if you're interested. In hindsight, I probably should have used black cable ties, as they would have been hidden better, but the plan is to kind of get moss to grow around this basket and hopefully hide the rim so it's not as obvious when it's sat in the pond. I also bought a piece of hessian. These were just next to the pond baskets, and I assumed that you were supposed to line the basket with it just to stop the soil spilling out. At least that's what my guess was. This could be totally wrong. But yeah, I've just kind of lined the basket with it. The basket had very fine holes anyway, so I don't think the soil would have leaked out. But yeah, again, just cable tied this into position, and then I just grabbed some rocks from the decking area in our garden just to kind of weigh it down, and I bought some aquatic soil, again something I've never used before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it's actually just really squishy, smushy soil, and it smells pretty funky as well. So yeah, I just filled the basket half full. It's got lots of bits of gravel in as well, and there was a worm in it, and weirdly I'm really scared of worms. I have snakes but I'm scared of worms, so yeah, worm popped out and I shit myself. Then it was just a case of arranging the plants. I have no idea how tall or wide or anything that these are actually going to grow, so this is just all just a bit of an experiment for me really, just to see how this works out. So I just kind of chose the larger ones, put them at the back, the smaller ones at the front. I ended up splitting up the grass, looks like a giant hair grass, and split that into two, and then just put it either side of the lobelia. And then I just added more soil on top of it all, just to make sure that it was all planted in. And then I added some little stones on the top. I think this is just to kind of stop the soil coming up, and it looks kind of nice as well, but I think it has a purpose, but it also is decorative. And yeah, once that was done I was pretty happy with it. I thought it looked quite nice. You could actually buy these pre-made from the Maidenhead Aquatics pond section, but I think mine looked nicer than what they were selling, if I do say so myself. So yeah, but I don't know how big these flowers and things are going to grow, so the root systems might start intertwining and they might start competing for nutrients, so if there's any deficiencies I'll just have to keep an eye on that. This is my rabbit Otis. He decided to join us while we were building the pond. Anyway, back to the pond build. I got some pond gravel and I just added that into the bottom of the bucket. I just thought it would brighten the bottom of it up because it is just a black barrel on the inside. And then I just grabbed a big piece of driftwood that I had because it's too big for any of my fish tanks, and it was just the perfect thing to sit the basket on top of, and the basket would sit at the right level for the water. So these plants, on the labels it said that they can be zone 1 or zone 2, meaning that they can be grown sort of in damp, wet soil, or they can have the roots completely submerged under the water. At least that's how I understood it. And then yeah, I just started to fill it up with water, and then I added some little detail twigs just around the basket because I don't want that to be visible. I want that to be hidden as much as possible. So again, just a case of cable tying some decorative pieces of wood. This is just Redmore wood that I had lying around, and I think there's a piece of manzanita as well. This is Arlo, my other rabbit, who, if you can see that yellow flower that's growing there, he did eat that off because he's really naughty. And yeah, I just filled it up with water, and then I just got some moss from around the garden, thought I would try adding that into it as well. Again, just for decorative purposes and just to try and hide the basket. I have ordered some Java moss, but it hadn't come at the time of filming this bit, but that'll be put around the lip of the basket just to kind of try and hide that and blend that in. At this point it's been 2 days after planting. As you can see, I added some rocks and some moss around the lip just to hide it, and I ordered some, I think it's dwarf water lettuce. It got a little bit crushed in the mill, so it looks a bit flat at this point, but I just added it in, one just for some interest. I think floating plants will definitely look nice in a pond. There's probably more than I need right now, but it's just to kind of help get the water quality under control. I'm not going to be putting any fish in this, it's not big enough, and with the big piece of driftwood in there, it's certainly not enough space for any fish. It is just more for decorative purposes in the garden and just an experiment for me really, because if this works then I might look at doing something a little bit bigger scale. But overall I'm quite happy with the outcome, so it's just a case of watching it grow in. Anyway, thanks for watching the video guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.